Hello everyone. In this session I'm going to talk about the future continuous tense. Okay, so the future continuous, which is also called the future progressive tense, is used to talk about actions that will continue for some time in the future. Okay, simply put, in a very easy way to understand, future continuous talks about the duration of an action that will happen in the future. Okay, in its continuous form. It is different from the future simple in that the future simple only talks about one particular point of time in the future, whereas the future continuous has the ability to talk about the duration of an action. Okay, so for basic learners, future is a time later than now. Okay, it's the opposite of past. So let's look at an example and then you'll understand better. So in future simple, if you want to talk about a typical work day, you might say something like, I will start at 10 a.m. and I will finish at 5 p.m. In this sort of expression, there is no information about the duration or the continuousness of an action, the continuity of an action. So future continuous is quite useful in this manner where you can talk about the duration of something. For example, I will be working from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. or I will be working all day. There are many uses of the future continuous tense. Okay, for example, the future continuous is used to talk about an action which continues for a period of time, just as I've mentioned before. So for example, we will be attending the event from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, so some music event, something. So it continues for a period of time. Here in this case, it continues for 5 hours. Right? So next one is, you use the future continuous to talk about planned actions. You've already made arrangements, you make plans, so you use the future continuous for this. For example, I will be traveling by plane tomorrow. So you've booked the tickets and your itinerary or your plan is all confirmed, so you're using the future continuous tense. Next one, he will be staying at the student's hostel during his college. So arrangements for that have been made. So you're talking about this planned action using the future continuous tense. The future continuous tense is also used to talk about actions that continue during a particular moment. Okay, at that point of time, this action is in a continuous state. For example, somebody might ask me, can I call you at 1 p.m.? I might say, no, I'm afraid. I will be having my lunch at 1 p.m. You can call me after that. Okay, for example. Next one. You use this tense to talk about two actions that continue at the same time. Okay, for example, two people doing two different actions at different places on the same day or at the same time. For example, tomorrow I will be writing an exam and my friend will be speaking at a conference. Okay, so two things happening at the same time. And the future continuous, for some reason, is also used to ask polite questions. Okay, just by using the future continuous in its will form, you sound more polite and respectful. Okay, these are mostly used, these kind of questions are mostly used in hotels. So when you're checking in, the receptionist might ask you, will you be checking in today, sir? Instead of saying, will you check in, it's more polite to say, will you be checking in today, sir? Or, will you be paying by credit card, sir? Okay, so asking polite questions. And as we know, we are always using a time in the future to talk about sentences, for events. So it is very common to see the future continuous tense being used in combination with a time marker. For example, I will be traveling to Burano next week. Okay, you can add any time marker for that matter. You can say tomorrow, the week after, or the day after tomorrow. You can talk about a particular time, okay, 9 a.m. on Friday, etc. Okay, so it's always used in combination with a time marker, right? And you also use this to make guesses about actions that are happening right now. So you have an idea of what might be happening right now somewhere. Okay, so for example, I don't want to call my brother. He will be studying right now and I don't want to disturb him. Does that make sense? Okay, so it is also used to make guesses about future actions. For example, I think they will be arriving tomorrow. Okay, that's another sentence, right? So let's look at the next one. You use the future continuous to talk about things that are expected to happen routinely or normally, okay, regularly. For example, the manager will be coming in at 10 a.m. So that's a regular thing. That's the time she would come every day. Another one is the milkman will be coming in at 6 a.m. So for normal things, right? Let's look at the structure of the future continuous. Okay, so for positive sentences, the structure, it's very simple to remember the future continuous, people, because it is the same for all the subjects, whether it is first person, second person, or third person, whether it is singular or plural, it doesn't change. Okay, the helping verb will remain the same. For example, in a positive sentence, the sentence starts with a subject followed by will be, and then you add the verb in its ing form. So subject plus will plus be plus verb plus the ing form. Okay, so this is the standard structure for a future continuous positive tense. Whereas for negative, it is subject plus will plus not plus be plus verb plus ing. Right? Let's look at the question form. So for question form, we reverse the position of the subject and the helping verb will. So the question starts with will, followed by the subject plus the be plus the verb in its ing form. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. So in a positive sentence, you use, here I've taken the subjects as pronouns like I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. Okay, so with I, you can say something like I will be coming soon, or I will be coming tomorrow. We will be traveling. You will be playing tennis. He will be writing. She will be speaking. It will be closing. They will be attending classes. Okay, so some positive examples. With negative, you can say something like I will not be talking. We will not be participating. You will not be going there. She will not be coming. He will not be cooking. It will not be starting. They will not be arriving soon. Okay, so those are some of the negative sentences. With interrogative forms or question forms, you say something like, will I be taking part in this? Okay, will I be a part of this event? So this is another polite question. So will I be taking part in this? Will we be facing a problem? Okay, for example, a decision that you've taken and you're asking your friend, will we be facing a problem in the future? Right? Will you be charging your phone? Will he be shopping for clothes? Will she be buying books? Will it be raining tomorrow? Will they be traveling with you? Okay, so these are all to ask for information most of the times. Okay, so see how useful your future continuous tense is, right? So here I've used, I will be coming soon and I will not be talking. So instead of using the will, separately, you can use contractions in spoken English. Like when you're actually speaking to someone, you don't have to use the entire sentence. For a smooth flow of your speech, and to stress on some other aspect of the sentence, you contract the subject and the will form to make it smooth and easy flowing. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So I will becomes I'll. Okay, so we will becomes will, you will becomes you'll, he will becomes he'll, she will becomes she'll, it will becomes it'll, they will becomes they'll. Okay, so again remember, it's only to make the sentence smooth and easy flowing. It depends on what message you're trying to convey. If it is important to stress on the word will, you can't contract. I'm just going to discuss that in my next slide. Okay, so in negative form, you use I will not as I won't. Will not becomes won't. We will not becomes we won't. You will not becomes you won't. He will not becomes he won't. She will not becomes she won't. It will not becomes it won't. Okay, they will not becomes they won't. Again, as I said, it depends entirely on the word you're trying to stress. If you really want the not to be stressed, you would contract the I and will. For example, the subject and will. Okay, you might say something like I'll not do this. Okay, I'll not talk to you. Right? So it exactly depends on what message you're trying to convey. So this is just a typical example of a smooth flowing sentence. So contractions are used for that respect. Okay, so as I said, this is future continuous and the verb has the ing form always. It's very important to form the right ing form. Okay, it's very common to make mistakes because learners simply add the ing forms to the verbs, which is not correct all the times. You have to make certain changes to the verb spelling, okay, to make it correct. For most of the times it's very easy. You can just simply add ing, like talk becomes talking, walk becomes walking, break becomes breaking, say becomes saying, tell becomes telling, speak becomes speaking. Okay, so it's very easy sometimes, but sometimes you want to make some changes, as in this. For example, some verbs end with e, like come, bake, smile, etc. In these cases, you remove or you drop the e and then you add the ing. Okay, so coming, C-O-M-E, you remove the e, which is C-O-M, and then you add the ing. So C-O-M-I-N-G, coming. Same goes for baking and smiling. Okay, so some examples there. Now some verbs end with the ie. For example, die, tie, lie, etc. So in these cases, you remove the ie, okay, and then you add the y, then you add the ing. So dying, D-I-E, you remove the IE and then you add the Y. Okay, dy, then followed by ing, D-Y-I-N-G, dying. Same goes for vying, tying, lying. Okay, and you have some verbs that end in CVC. CVC here is consonant, vowel and consonant. Okay, vowels are the letters A, E, I, O, U, and the rest of the letters in the alphabet are your consonants. Okay, so here we are not looking at the letters, okay, but we are looking at the sounds of those letters. Okay, so if the verb has, if the word has 3 sounds, okay, that is syllables. Syllable is a sound that is uttered, one sound uttered from your mouth. Okay, so that is a syllable. Right, so CVC, this is 3-syllable word. Tap, T-A-P. Okay, so it ends in consonant. Okay, vowel and consonant. Consonant, vowel, consonant. T-A-P. Stop, S-T-P. Okay, stop. Rob, R-O-B. So in these cases, what you do is you double the consonant, the last consonant, okay, and then you add the ing. If you don't do that, it might affect the pronunciation of that particular word. For example, tapping, tap, T-A-P, then you double the consonant, which means you add another P, T-A-P-P, then you say I-N-G. If you don't add the double P, if you don't add the second P, it might sound like taping, okay, like stopping, probing. So for that reason, you want to double the consonant to keep the pronunciation intact. Okay, so I hope that is clear so far. Now, as I said, your use of will is easier, and when you're stressing on that particular word, okay, it makes it very easy to understand. Okay, when you're using I will, in these cases you don't use the contractions. Yes people, I'm talking about the short answers. For example, if someone is asking, will you be coming with me, you don't have to say the entire sentence. You can simply say, yes, I will. In this case, you don't use the contraction, okay, because you are stressing on the word will, which is another way of saying yes. Yes, I will. Or, no, I won't. Here you don't say no, I will not. Here you're stressing on no. Okay, so your won't works synonymous with saying no. Okay, so no, I won't. Will she be joining us for lunch? Yes, she will. Or no, she won't. Will they be attending the wedding? Yes, they will. Or no, they won't. Okay, so this is how future continuous makes your lives easier, people. So try to use it, and if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.